Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you, talking to you about you and your business on this Tuesday. We have a lot to cover on this program. I've got Frank Granett with us here on the program. He is an ADHD and nutritional physiology expert and someone who is among the many who are alarmed by the sheer volume of drugs that kids are taking. And it's not even for entertainment purposes. It's because they're supposed to in order to be better, but we wonder how much better they're actually becoming. Frank, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, great to be with you and all of your listeners.
Tell us real quickly, tell us a little bit about your background, your expertise, and then tell us a little bit about the Coalition Against Over Medicating Our Youth.
Well, Kevin, I'm a practicing pharmacist. I'm a director of pharmacy operations at a psychiatric hospital in Southeast Michigan. And basically during the last 5 years especially, I've seen a trend that's very alarming, and the trend is our late teen and young adult population is being under siege with this behavioral problems leading into crisis behavior involving hospitalization at psychiatric institutions. And I wrote the book about a year and a half ago after my son's very best friend died from suicide due to uncontrolled bipolar condition. This was at age 20. Great kid, had a full ride track scholarship, and it's hitting our late teens at an epidemic rate now. So at that moment, I felt we had to move and get this reform out there, and the movement's just going crazy strong right now. And the Coalition Against Over Medicating Our Youth helps parents, gives those struggling parents and teens and adults an understanding or new information that we can go after these risk factors I talk about in the book and the DVD, as well as the coalition, to help get kids back on track before they go to drug therapy.
Mm-hmm. Frank, got lots of questions for you. Where are you all located? I know this is somewhere in Michigan.
We're just north of Detroit, about 15 miles, right southeast Michigan.
What city?
It's Warren, Michigan.
Oh, so you guys are in Oakland County.
Actually, the hospital is located in Oakland, actually Macomb County, which is an adjacent county.
Just north of that. Yeah, just north of that.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up in Ferndale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. We're right. The hospital is probably maybe 15, 20 minutes down. Yeah.
There you go. Very cool. Tell us a little bit about the history of the organization.
Well, we, like I say, it's the Coalition Against Over Medicating. It's not that we're against drug usage in children. We're for prudent use of drug therapy only after these risk assessments that I talk about, in our book and our educational DVD. And these risk factors, when parents get the right information, they have a recourse, if you will, before going to drug therapy, or even if their children are already on medication. And these are powerful medications, Kevin. These are, ADHD stimulants are not, something in the past that it's something that's been acceptable, but the long-term effects of these drugs are now known. And that's why I started the coalition, to get that right information to parents, educators. And you'd be surprised, right. A lot of our healthcare professionals appreciate, the updated information that they're receiving through our organization.
Yeah, and by the way, what I wanted to know specifically is when you all started.
We started, this is a young organization. We're less than a year old. The actual organization started about 8 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally with you on the concern about, any drug that has the word meth in it, which almost every ADD and ADHD drug has the word meth in it, has to make you a little bit alarmed.
Well, it is. And the problem, though, Kevin, is, for 40 years now, our population has been under the assumption that these drugs are safe in young children. They're therapeutic, and 7 out of 10 children will have a positive response with ADHD, especially stimulant-type medications. But the problem is the long-term studies that are out now, that are coming out, and it's very alarming that, you get these anxiety issues, bipolar could surface, different types of depression, aggressive behavior. These come down the road, and parents and educators especially should be aware of those prior to they, going to the drug therapy first. We want to go after assessments first before drug.
Yeah, and you like things like, I'm sure, nutrition and other vehicle sort of drugs before you use drugs.
Yeah, but, in the past, nutrition, yes, you're right about that, and I talk about that a lot in the book, but there's these other assessments that are really helping kids out, especially. We're talking about, many parents are not aware that, for example, the physiological assessments, Kevin, like on the spinal cord, there's more neurons innervating our stomach and small intestines. And parents, especially when I tell them and I consult with them, those are the critical, those two sites, the stomach and small intestine, that's where the precursors of our neurotransmitters to help kids think, focus, have executive functioning. That's where they're manufactured. So we have to understand we need good nervous system energy flow to those two sites. And then we also need to have and make sure that the stomach and small intestine is free from excessive yeast, bacteria, et cetera. And in young kids, how easily that can occur. So, we have nutritional enzymes we talk about as well that helps detox the body gently, especially in young kids, as well as adults.
Mm-hmm. So, and so a lot of those things that they're doing, and people think that, they think in terms of ADD, they think in terms of distraction, which of course is often the case, and hyperactivity of this ADHD, but, there's also unnecessary stress. That's often symptomatic of ADD, and you can certainly see that as symptomatic of what you're putting in your stomach. Anxiety, maybe even mood altering. A lot of that stuff comes right out of your gut, doesn't it?
Well, exactly. And what I counsel patients, the parents especially, is that the food dyes, the additives, et cetera, that are in our foods, Kevin, today. And if we were to go back 20 years ago, we have a more toxic food chain today than 20 years ago. Furthermore, these kids at a young age, and we're talking, this is like 3- and 4-year-olds where doctors are still prescribing these powerful stimulants because guess why?
Why?
Now we bring in the environmental problem where mom and dad's both working. It's a stressful family environment more today than it was, 20 years ago. And so what happens is to keep that child under control, they go to drugs first. And that's the drawback. That's something that has to be changed. A lot of these kids have these different types of stomach issues that could be resolved. They have metabolic conditions like reactive hypoglycemia that mimics the ADHD, a classic ADHD symptom. It's reactive hypoglycemia.
Right.
So, like I say, the stomach and intestines are critical, and we have to make sure kids are eliminating toxins every single day.
Frank Granett, he is with an organization there called the Coalition Against Over Medicating Our Youth, CAOOY.org, CAOOY.org. Where'd you go to school? Just curious.
My wife and I were both pharmacists. We both went to Wayne State University, and I already know you know where that's at.
I sure do. Yeah, absolutely. Right there in the heart of Detroit. All right. Hey, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Kevin, and have a great day.
You too. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at USDailyReview.com, and this is The Price of Business.